Benny, go away. Go away, Benny. It's a Lunar Tuna wanna say hi, huh? It's a Lunar Tuna gonna say good morning before Lunar Tuna runs off. We're saying good morning to Lunar Tuna. Go away, Benny. Back. Benny, back. Lunar Tuna say back. Lunar Tuna never come visit. Say good morning, pretty lady. Lunar Tuna here. Saying good morning. Good morning. I got laser eyes. I got laser eyes. She's a good girl. Wanna go? She said, yeah, the sticky brothers infringing on my space. I'll see you later. Good morning. Welcome to my tube. Or good day. Or good evening. Because I know that when these go up, then somebody has to watch them to make sure they're okay. Sometimes. And then it's like tomorrow or later today it'll come out or something. I don't know. I share it. I share them on my Facebook page. I share my videos after I post them on my Facebook page. Third eye activated. 3 eyes. THIIIRD. Third eye activated. I'm all about the word whimsy. I grew up. Mommy, I had boyfriends that drank beer, and they'd have the Lucky, in the old beer, they had pictures, like kind of like what people do with emojis now. So they're like little animal, and they would make sayings out of stuff. You know, I like puzzles. I've always liked puzzles. Come on, Benzo. I had a rough night. I didn't sleep very well. I had a hard time falling asleep. And then, because of monkey mind, trying to turn things over, huh? Trying to not be fearful, trying to be faithful. Like the obsessive compulsive freaking, I like all the alphabet soup that people give when people some people call it obsessive compulsive, and then if you're in like religious groups, they call it chanting, and then if you're over here, they call it something else. So it just depends on, I guess, who you hang out with and how they feel that day and what they want to call terminologies on how people are feeling. Are you seeing how the people are getting spread pretty thin? The revolution started a long time ago. It's just they haven't started calling it that yet, really. I'm waiting for the mainstream media. I don't know. I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of non-operational news here pretty quick. People are just they're coming unhinged, so they're gonna go in and start taking people out of their news chairs, and just it's gonna get ugly because people are spread thin. And when people are, because usually, I think about the course of history in the 50s and stuff like that. And it was like mother, father, that's what the program was. That's what, get with the program, folks, get with the program. Dad went to work, mom stayed home, cleaned the house, did the laundry, tended to the children, that was her. She didn't work, she was a stay-at-home mother, but every mother that exists knows that how much work is entailed to being a mother. So I was 50s, 60s, get the program. Then they changed the program. Then they're a threat. They're after us. They're a threat for our own safety. We have to go to Vietnam and attack another country. And then so they did that, and then all the the soldiers went and just did their job, just doing what they're supposed to do. And then they come back and everybody calls them baby killers and stuff like that, and so they gotta not only live with the shit that they've done and have to, live with that because they're just doing what they're told, but also their own country turns their back on them. And then so they're like, oh, and then they create the VA system. It's just all this stuff. It's all this cognitive dissonance, and it's taken everybody away from their spirit. Even the churches have been freaking corrupt, man. Why do mega churches exist? How can they exist? How can churches? I always understood. I was never really a religious person. We go to mom take us to church. She'd always believe in God, and made us pray and stuff like that. And So I have always had faith in a power bigger than myself, but every time I went, it's like, why can't we just meet in a park and talk about how much we connect with Source, God, what Jesus, whatever people identify with, you know? Why do they gotta, you know, build a building, pay for lights, pay for electricity, pay for, you know, all the homes that the preachers live in, pay for the vacation homes that the preachers live in, pay for the yachts in the extra home, you know? And I can't find a home right now. I need a home right now. I need one now, so if people aren't using one, there's plenty of people out there that would be glad to live in your home and love your home and make it a home, because it's going to be a hard, long winter, and people don't want to be on the streets, and and so people are waking up to their spirit, and they're not liking it. They're not liking it, and they're not reaching out for other people to help them explain what's going on in their lives and in their world and in their minds. Everybody's going through it. We're all energy, and we're all radios, and we all receive data. Some people receive data just from, you know, have the ability to receive it just from being in the room, you know. Just from being in the presence of a room with people, they receive data. Some people have to be told things, have to be seen things. Some people are visual learners. Some people are audio learners. Some people have to actually do it. Everybody's different, and all these control freaks have made a society where everybody has to act one certain way because they're so fearful. And if people don't, well, then you're going to go to jail, and you're going to get your freedoms taken away, and it's threat. And all that does is freaking put fear in people's energy field, and then their body and their breaks down from stress because of all the freaking crazy shit stress does. Stress makes people's teeth rot. I can't believe I'm in good as shape as I am. It's because I meditate an hour and a half a day, you know. But I can feel the pressure on my kidneys, and I can feel, you know, I have immune deficiencies just like it. I'm you know, I had my appendix taken out when I was 15. That's an energetic dissonance. That's an ungrounding thing. That's a imbalance within me. It's okay, buddy. I'm okay. Get it right. We'll stay here till we get it right. Stay here till we get it right. Good boy. Good dog. I was listening to a talk, Lady Ladia DeCoveney yesterday, and she had a surgeon on, a medical doctor. This woman's brilliant, and she had also astrologist, so she could tell people about their ailments based on their charts. Come on. And I encourage everyone to go listen to her talk. Just a couple of key points notes that I made. Tucker came over. Hi, Tuck. You gonna come over and say hi? Hi, sweet baby. You're so pretty. Such a handsome man. And they're pretty, too. You're handsome and you're pretty. Always gotta tell them they're handsome and they're pretty, because they're both. Everybody's both. And it's okay that everybody be both. Look at this little nugget. Oh my God, he just plopped. It's the plop I love, when they just plop. Love the plop. So, what she does is she went through, and it's a pretty long talk, so I had to break it up through the course of the day. I can't just, unless I'm doing stuff, just put the phone in my pocket and listen to people talk about stuff. Anyway, she went through Greek mythology and the planets and what they represent. You know, the planets represent the Greek mythology and the gods. And the thing of it is we all have these gods and these planetary energies within each and every one of us. Every single human being on this planet does. It's what people choose to do with their free will. With that is what is determined the matrix and the mainstream and the main stage is what's happening and transpiring in the world right now. People are coming into their freedom, their spirit, and they want their freedom because they know that spirits remember that they are expansive and that they're limitless. But we do have self-control on what we do with those. And people are coming into their superhuman powers and abilities. It's what they're doing with those. Are they doing it to collect money and power and property and prestige for shit that maybe you can't take, from some idea that you can't take into your next incarnation? All you can take is the karma and what you rack from this one. And people are making their maker, and they're having spiritual awakenings, and they're having moments of clarities, and they're having freaking God. There's more than one God. There's more than one God. Some people, they believe in gods that, you know, that are into cannibalism and stuff, and people are figuring that out. You can't do that. You cannot harm another human being, nor an animal. You cannot harm. You can't like insulting people, like just making people feel bad. It's all karma. And when there's so much like that is built up because people are fearful, something's breaking, and now it's going to break. The bow is about to break, and the baby will fall. So in Greek mythology, I'm not proficient in it. I mean, I want to make my own kind of a Gantt chart with it. Actually, I would like to do that one day. But like Kronos, I think is Saturn or Mars. See, I can't do it now yet because I gotta write them all down. Anyway, go listen to her talk. But Kronos like ate his own children and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like with people, you know, so people are coming into these storylines where a lot of people put themselves in position of power so that they continue in their dastardly lives and their ways of being right out in plain sight, and nobody notices. And it's this whole, you're crazy. How many times have I heard that in my life? My own brother's one. You're too sensitive. You're so sensitive. You've always been so over emotional. And you know what that tells me? That when people are under emotional, there's no spirit in that. And that's a red flag to me. When people say things to me like, it's nothing personal, it's just business. Well, guess what? Everything's personal. Business is made up. Business is a fucking reindeer game. Politics, made up. How many billions of dollars are spent on signs and stuff that ends up in landfill? Garbage, posters, you know, so all that stuff. Pro sports, biggest freaking crock, you know? It's like modern day gladiators, you know? You know? It's like people secretly just wait for, you know, someone to get hit so hard, maybe they're not going to go up, and then they can, you know, people have this darkness in them, and they're drawn to this stuff, and this is just stuff I've never been into. I like music, and there's a lot of freaking bad seeds in music, too. I wonder what old Ed Sheeran, and, you know, I liked his music a couple years back, but I always got a weird vibe from him. There's just something off about him. And just how he liked to, on his Instagram, he would like to, like, take a picture of him and then all the people behind me. To me, that's a level of, look what I did. But it wasn't you, dude. It wasn't all you. I think there's people that you're forgetting along the way. And how much did you charge for your ticket? See, I always imagined being like a big speaker, like a circuit speaker. So I was friends with Bill W. I used to go to conferences all the time, and they'd have people that just shared their experience, strength, and hope. That's kind of one of the reasons what I do here, how I got in the habit of it. And so when doing that, you know, you got to see a lot of people that did that too. And you had the good ones, just like in every paradigm. You had the ones that would pick the, you know, the predators. And it's funny how many of them are like, you know, I'm pretty good judge of character. I ain't 100% because ain't nothing no 100%. But I'm pretty good. I'm probably about 90, 92, I think, being right about people. And sometimes I pick up on stuff. I was outside a bar one time with this lady, and she was talking to this guy, and I was just out of clear blue sky. I was like, do you like croutons? It's from nowhere. I'm like, dude, do you like croutons? He's like, yeah, I got some in my car right now. I just went to freaking Costco and bought a bunch. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's shit like that. You know, I do that stuff all the time. You know? And so, anyway, so I was really appreciative because I have a lot of information. I'm Aries sun, and I got Aries in Chiron in my 10th house. And so from my understanding, in a lot of the talks I've been listening to, this is kind of hard for cardinal signs. It's hard for everybody right now. It depends on what's in your chart and what's going on and stuff. But in Greek mythology, Mars causes inflammation, and Mars is about to move into Aries, which is his home sign, and it's just, it's the warrior, it's the anger, it's the aggression, it's the fury, it's the, I've waited long enough, it's the, why do you have to make me dance like a puppet, it's the, it's just not fair, you know, it's the people that make the rules that don't follow the rules, and it's the savage part too, it's the part that's, we haven't seen the savage yet. We've seen taste in little bits, like that dude that freaking kicked that guy in the head. People don't realize how little it takes to break human bones. So they go and kick somebody like they're kicking a ball, and that's a freaking skull fracture right there, or a broken jaw. People don't know. They don't know. They just don't know. Because how many people are out there fighting in the streets right now? You ain't never been in a fight before. You ain't never taken a hit. I've taken a few. First time I ever got, I got my cheek broke. My cheek was broke because the gal wasn't wearing a seatbelt. She slid over and her head cracked me in the head. So I got my cheek broke. And one time, and then another girl, and then my brother hit me in the nose and cracked the bridge of my nose. I saw stars when we were teenagers, old enough to know better. Old enough to know better. He's older, I'm younger, but you know, I know how all the guys are. I know who all the guys are. That I know a guy that's gonna hit a girl. I know a guy that's not gonna hit a girl. I know a woman that's gonna hit a man, and I know a woman that's not gonna hit a man. I know who the peaceful ones are and the aggressors are, and the aggressors are out on the street right now. And I've had, my hair is just tripping out right now. This is crazy. I thought it was coming up from the top, okay? I was just like, what the heck is going on, freak? So Mars and Aries and people are hurting because of all, Mars represents inflammation and everybody's flaring. All the hurts are hurting. Physical hurts, emotional hurts, you know? Because people are losing their temper. Because they're around, you know, they don't have, everybody's daily routines are disrupted. And I don't care how much you love your family, being around your family, like constantly, anybody being around anybody constantly 24/7, you're going to go through freaking waves of like you hate them, you love it. It's just how it is. It's concentration. Too much of anything. If you ate your favorite food every single day, how long do you think it would be your favorite food for? I mean, I love tacos, but if I ate tacos every day, at one point I'd be like, tacos? Because we're expansive spirits, but we have these small beings that put themselves in power where they keep them, they keep everybody else down. So, okay, I'm bouncing back and forth between Mars and the power, evidently. So, Mars and Aries, people are hurting. Temp, hot and cold. She was talking to this doc, she made a very good point. See, when I was a kid and we had fevers, there were so many holistic things that used to be done, but then they were covered up by an aspirin, you know? Fevers get the viruses and the bugs and the ick out of you. And this lady was saying that you know, as adults, as children, I think it's sooner or earlier, but as adults, like if you get a fever, you know, if it's 102, you're cool. If it's 103, then yeah, take an aspirin, you know, stuff like that. But the body is its own ecosystem. It cleans itself out. So if there's and why do people get sick? Because there's an imbalance. I remember a couple times, this one time I started dating there's this girl that I liked, and we started hanging out or going to the movies, and I was not sleeping a lot, but I was still doing my everyday life, but I was always excited and dreaming to match, and it was not, the balance wasn't there. I should have stayed focused on my life and then just took bits of this person into my life. Instead, I switched it, made this person my whole life, and so I was burning the candle on both ends, and I started getting sick, you know, because people get twiddle-pated, they don't eat, they're not hungry, you don't need as much sleep, you know, and people could be in this mindset of twiddle-patient at all times, even without another human being involved. It's just an energetic vibration. It's what we tell yourself and how we feel. But, you know, there's so much stuff going on. There's so much insecurity right now. People just feel bad. And then, like, in the 70s and the 80s, you know, and the 70s, like, divorce was more, so all that pushing of the marriage in the 50s, you know, was going away, because in the 70s, my parents were divorced. I was their parting gift. And then, so it was the single parent, single mom, absentee father kind of era. And then they had kids, and then they're like, and that's my generation. And then they were like, we're gonna do, and a lot of people overcompensated. It just did everything for them. And so now everybody is just conditioned to just living a happy, joyful life is getting all the stuff that you want in life. And that's not what living a happy, joyful life is. And being obedient and obeying and all that stuff. That's not what a joyful life is. A spirit having a human experience. So with all this inflammation and all this stuff coming up from, you know, people's just hurting, because when people hurt, they just I get mad when I get hurt. I hate pain. Pain freaking sucks, and it's all inflammation. And the older you get, you know, and if you were rough and tumble like me when I was a kid, I feel for freaking, you know, football players. Well, no, I don't, because they got paid billions of dollars and it was their choice to do it and stuff like that. But now they're all coming back and they're all being spokespeople for, you know, how important it is to take care of your body. And I'm like, oh yeah, no shit, you know. And people go out and they think they're indispensable because they get this life force kundalini energy and they go, and then but they don't know that bones break, that we're still having a human experience. A lot of people are gonna go out and hurt people. Look at all the freaking badass, what do you call it? Freaking protests and shit. Save the kids. It's always about the kids. I was one of those kids. 10 months old. You know? And when people are like, you know, yeah, monsters do that. And monsters exist. Monsters rule the earth. They have. They have ruled the earth. In churches, politics, governments, you know, they've all ruled the earth. And now people are standing up against it. And it's freaking really quite wonderful to see. But she said, because I my temperature, I run hot and cold. I'm very full spectrum. So when that's why it's not cold. I get chilly. The older I get, I'm getting more sensitive. Everybody's getting more sensitive. As the shamanic resonance of the planet raises, we are fleas on a dog. Ours is raising too. So it's like, you know, everybody's getting sensitive. Everybody is. And those that aren't, those are the ones that need to not be in positions of power. If people don't have sensitivities, get out of power. Because if you haven't been through situations, you have no business trying to delegate resources to organizations when you don't even know what people need, because you've always had your ass wiped. And you've always been fed by a frickin' silver spoon. So now people are going to rip that silver spoon out of your mouth. They're figuring it out, man. It's the circle of greed, man. The bureaucrat splat. I don't like seeing people get hurt, you know, but people have free will, dude. I mean, it's just, they talk about numbers. They talk about numbers. None of this stuff is even true. It's just all made up crap. And the people that are kicking the shit out of your freaking friends and family in the streets, in the cities and stuff like that, I bet a lot of these guys are the same guys that I saw coming back from Operation Iraqi bullshit. You know, we made, you know, and a lot of these guys, they get in the mindset, they don't know that they're in freaking Portland. They don't know, you know, psychology, that's what it does. When people get tormented, the spirit comes up out of the body. And sometimes when it comes back down into the soul sac, it's fragmented. And you don't get aspects back. So that sweet hometown boy that loved playing baseball and was the football star, you know, he died back in Iraq. His body came back, and now he's a freaking guy that has a taste for blood. And, you know, you're so proud of him. Put him in the police force, give him all the gear, buy him SUVs, make them not have to pay for anything, insurance premiums, car uniforms, none of it. It's all allowance, all allowance, all allowance. You are allowed, you get that. It's all tax-free exempt. It's all, oh, thank you for your service. It's all that, you know. And then now they're out in the streets going, because they're all inflamed. Everybody's inflamed because if they got, everybody has Aries in their chart. So Aries is Mars. Everybody's everybody's raging. Everybody's fearful. Everybody's, you know, their spirit warriors waking up, and you know, so you were gonna see it. Just pops everywhere, all over, just like boo, boo. These cities just erupting, and you know, just they have been, you know. But the piggy squealy, the mainstream media, the squirrely purly, they aren't gonna report it because they're trying to just do everything's okay, folks. Are you wearing your mask? And it's like, dude, we way past the mask. We way past the mask, yeah? You're still talking about the mask? Really? You're still talking about the mask? It's September. You're still talking about the mask? You know, people are really starting to put the numbers together, and fearful people telling people, everybody to be fearful when a lot of people aren't because they have a faith. It's like, no, you fearful? You stay home. We'll take over. Us faithful, we'll take over. We got this. So, inflammation, so I run hot and cold, so I had to get up and put on a freaking sweats, and you know, and because it's springs here, or fall, and is where I live, and you know what's kind of funny? Notice this. Here's a trend. Yesterday, today, it's been like 78. It's been like nice weather, right? Chill. The lighting's been weird. I opened the door last night. Mom's like, wow. She was getting ready for bed. Cat was outside. I came in. And she's been extra observant. She's been on top of stuff lately. Wow. She's like, it's like another dimension. That's so weird. And I was like, isn't it though, Mom? And she's like, and it's so quiet. I'm like, Mom, we're divinely protected. Cause you know, we're up in 560, whatever. 3D, it's hell on earth right now, Mom. We're divinely protected because you're a nice old lady, and you don't need to see that stuff, and I got to keep you from having to see that stuff. So people with, she was saying Mars and Aries, people are hurting. We run hot and cold. Inflammation related to Mars, energy from Aries. There's just, people are feeling a lot of energy, and people that haven't felt energy, haven't felt alive, haven't felt impassioned in a long time, and it's really cool to feel. Like Mom's, like, you know, she's been wanting to go in the backyard with me, you know, but at the same time, it's like, her spectrum is broadening too, because in the evening she gets confused. She's getting more confused, and I can't talk about certain things in the evening. There's like conversation topics that just upset that I found that it's just like, it used to be evening conversation, but now that I'm finding it's like I have to modify, edit what I say to her because she'll get worked up. Like I can't talk about it moving in the evening because she starts talking about, well, we gotta go like in a couple of days. I'm like, well, we got a few weeks, Mom. We got, you know. And then and then in her talk, she goes through the rest of the planets. It's not just Aries, but she goes through the rest of them as far as the planets and how they relate to the systems and the organs in the body. And I love these talks. I love when people talk about that, the holistic approach, because if you deal in terms of stress, you know, I don't have an appetite. I'm really having to make myself eat right now. It's not, but I'm not underweight. So my body is still, you know, I still got fat to eat of my own kind of thing. So it's not, you know, and I make myself eat because I have low blood sugar. And if I don't, I start getting spacey. And these energies right now are just so, everyone's spacey. So even if you ever been like on top of your game all the time, you know facts, you know this, you know that, you're just, it's like, technology is weird. Technology is there. I don't know if it's because people are, you know, timelines flipping, everything's being updated because they all seem to update their algorithms kind of around the same time, like the back end. It's just, I don't know. There is no, we're not ever gonna really know why everything is just, but we just kind of have to get used to the new energy and then learn how to adapt. But right now people are calibrating, And since they never felt, because some of these planetary energies that we're feeling right now haven't been felt on the planet in like 200, depending on what the cycles are, you know, people have never felt in this lifetime, but because their spirits have incarnated in those last time periods, that their spirits are literally waking up to the data and information that was gained in that incarnation. And so it's like a point. It's like a point of electricity. That's how electricity works, it goes, it's like a stream. Sorry, baby. And so it's like recognition from, 1776 of where our spirits was. My spirit, Native American, from my mother's Native American. Our ancestors are of that lineage, of that storyline. And so, where were we 500 years ago? Where was the world 500 years ago? That's when the church came in, or that's when, what's his face? Oh boy, Martin Luther, his storyline started. Is that where they started to go into the church, or they started questioning the church? Anyway, what's happening now is the church, for the last several hundred years, it's, you got to go to church, give all your money to your church, sinner, sinner, sinner. And now people they're finding their connection to spirit within each and every one of themselves. And when that happens, the big churches freak out because you ain't going to pay for all their shit no more. And and that's why I'm excited about how this next evolution of the earth is, because people are going to live more community, barter's coming back, people are going to trade services and stuff like that, and people are going to live close, and so there's going to be more people to help with the elders, the ones that like to stay close to home to help with the elders, while us workers and earners go out and help fix the community. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. But when, it wasn't too long ago that the #1 movie in America was made to be, by popular vote, Jackass 2. And the main thing to do, the fun, cool thing to do, was to get gallons of milk and guzzle them until you puke. So there aren't, that just kind of gives you a baseline of where people, have evolved from in just this country, So, these are just the sons and daughters of the people that are running the place now, It's they're the ones that raised those people that made those trends possible. So you got to really question trends and what people tell you and what's true. And that's why the oldest, truest religion to me has always been astrology, and God and source and is all at the center of that, doing the right thing, living a high vibrational, peaceful existence without eating people, animal stuff, just all that nasty stuff for their idea of their version of God, because they got their wires crossed. Maybe there is a reality in a world where that is prevalent and that is acceptable. However, this is Earth and this isn't that world. So what they need to do is contain themselves, or lock them up, or if they want to freaking transition early to get off into that world where they can do dastardly things, that's their prerogative also. The thing is we are not going to allow that evil shit on Earth any longer. It's just not going to happen anymore, because it's happened on so many people's watches, and then now we're starting to figure out, well, if so much of it is happening, maybe you're, and we're starting to look at the people that, like, maybe you're involved, I know that, I'm a Heyoka. I'm a contrarian. I don't think like everybody else. Everybody's like, yeah, there's good cops and there's bad cops. And I'm like, well, there's so much motherfucking evil in the world. Maybe the good cops should have been gooder. Maybe they should have been just a little bit gooder. Every now and again, there's a big bust. How much resources do you hog up for every now and again? It's like giving it, it's like, they just celebrated not too long. Oh, women have been able to vote for 100 years. Let's celebrate that. Okay, well, voting's been a thing for 250, so you swinging dick, fucking misogynistic, patriarchal bullshit control freaks, thanks for the fucking crumb. it's really weird starting to see this whole storyline with these late turn. Ooh, people are nasty. People are nasty. See, and all that stuff, it was never my storyline because I'm lesbian, so I'm a big old gay wad. So I don't freaking never had. Well, abortion was never something that was, but there are cases where women get raped and stuff like that. But I was the one in high school when I was 15, sophomore, junior year. We'd skip school and go up to Planned Parenthood, and the freaking local church people had all those nasty, gross pictures. I'm like, where did you get those? Where did you get those? These girls just made a mistake. I mean, they're like 15. We'd escort them in. And then that was like, my activation, my active protesting days. My protest was flipping baby Bush off the bird out the hangar door, or the aid shop off at Air Force Base on 9/11. That's my protest. I've always done the single, silent protest because nobody really thinks like me much. I don't mind because then I do these talks, and then sometimes people join in, and sometimes they call me and I get to talk to them, and then they get to say, you say what a lot of people think. And then they get to say hi to mom and say things like, your daughter helps people. That makes me feel really good. That's all I want to do, I'm not trying to be a millionaire. I don't want to be a millionaire. Money causes problems. I just want enough to get me and mom to go. I just need a place to go. I think I have enough for deposits and stuff like that. And that's the thing, is that town is so closed up because of the controllers. I just need one person to say, you know what? We just need one bedroom. We can share a bedroom. I'll sleep in the living room. Anyway, it'll work out. It'll work out. I'm just tired because I didn't sleep. I want to send positive, high vibes to those firefighters. To the firefighters. To the ones I see, the real firefighters. Real ones. Real firefighters. There's a lot of fake firefighters. There's a lot of fake firefighters, just like everything else. But the real firefighters, we're talking about them. Because California is on fire. It's going through a great cleansing, just as it was a few years ago. And Rick from Rick's Astrology, he on his community page, he posted not too long ago about the correlation between the last time these some certain planetary alignments were happening was when the car fire happened a few years back. I did talk on that Reading car fire. They're resilient towns, tough people. You live in a hard land. You learn to become hard, and then you go out into the world and you have all these people that gave themselves soft, fluffy lives, and then hard and fluff. It kind of it has to learn to mesh. There has to be a world for everybody, not just some. So I always think about not just the firemen, I'm not even really talking about the fire crews. I'm talking about the young men that have been incarcerated in California and then have been made to be firemen. I hated that when they did that. I remember when I was a little girl, we'd have to go to psychologists and stuff like that. They'd just watch me play behavior psychology. I hated that shit. It's like, what the they always talk about me, and I'm like, and anyway, I've always been tested for some kind of shit. I'm like, if I'm so important, how come I don't get paid for this shit? If everybody always wants to know about me, why don't I get, where's my freaking, anyway. So I remember seeing this guy when we were sitting there, and because it was also a 19-room hospital in Atascadero. And I was young. I was probably 3 years old, 2 years old. But when you see a guy that freaking stuck an axe through his foot, through his shoe and into his foot, you remember it. And you remember it just like it was yesterday. And I remember the cock, and they were there, and they like had him handcuffed to the chair and stuff like that. And then they're like, the cops are like, he did it on purpose to get out of work. And I'm like, I mean, they're just really rude to him and really mean to him and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I knew then that cop freaking does shit to get out of work, you know? You know what I mean? And he didn't do that to get out of work. He did it because he's a kid and he doesn't know how to fucking swing an axe. And then they put these kids, tell them they're not worth shit. The state says that they need 174, no, the California says for each inmate, this was as a few years ago, I've done talks about it, so the data is probably inflated by now. But few years back, for every inmate, they said there's 194,000 inmates in California, and for every inmate, they need $70,000 to vet that inmate, to house that. No. They need to pay them. They need that to pay their pensions and shit like that. And see, I had an uncle who was in corrections, and I had a dad who worked in like mental hospitals. I've always had these guys that like, because their dad was a drunk, and so they beat the shit out of him. So they put themselves in positions of power so they could do that to other people because they feel bad, and that's what all these organizations and stuff do. So. And then, so they say it costs $70,000 to freaking vet these kids. And then when they get out, they put felon on them and they can't even get a job. So they go back to the ways of, selling weed and stuff like that to make money. And then they get put in for their $70,000. So out on the street, they're worth shit. But we've created this system where and that's the office where my brother works. I think. I don't know. I lost track. I don't want to know. I just know that he's probably not having a good time at work. Well, I think everything in work for him, he's one of those everybody. He don't even make his own coffee anymore. He's one of those. No, I don't make coffee anymore. Well, do you like coffee? Do you like to drink coffee? That's what he said at work to me like several years back. We were still speaking. He has an admin assistant and all that stuff. He has people that do that for him now. I don't make coffee anymore. I'm like, what? And I've come from a place of service in recovery where I have to sometimes show up an hour early to make coffee and stuff like that because you got to support the people around you, and that, that's like a hospitable thing to do. Someone comes over, get him something to drink. Can I get you something to drink? But he don't do that. Neither do his homies. And so then he got married, and then his wife didn't make coffee. And then so now, guess who has to make coffee if he wants to drink? I don't drink coffee anymore. I love it, but it's more of a social thing, and it keeps me so much. My energy is all over the place right now. I'm just trying to stay grounded in the present moment, because it's hard, because I can worry about how fast time goes by. Aries rules adrenaline, too. So people that can't contain themselves, that's why ever since I was a little girl, Mom always said you need to learn emotional control. I was always been put in time out because I'd throw fits and tantrums, and I'd just tense my whole body up. And the reason why I did that is for the release, because then my body would relax. We all have our stuff. I was born late. I was 10 pounds, or I was not 10 pounds, I was 10 months, but my mom she's not a very big woman, and then my birth, I was only 6 pounds 4 ounces, because she was under so much stress when I was in vitro that it literally fed on my inner, like, I've been supporting people since I was in the womb. So us do-gooders, us people pleasers, we please people to keep the peace because it physically harms us. And everybody's like that. Like, when you hear your kid cry and you got to do everything you do to, like, stuff. That's how I am when my dogs cry. I just got to freaking turn into militant Aries Marge, or when Mom's upset, or like when I got to do something like that I don't want to do, like, okay, Mom, we got to change your paint, we got to change clothes. She doesn't like changing her clothes. But sometimes we got to change clothes. You're starting to get kind of smelly. You can't have being smelly clothes, Mom. Got to keep clean, stay fresh. It'll be easier when we move. Sometimes I feel like I haven't done a good job for her. But, Do the best you can. What do you do? Fucking A, what do you do? So, yeah, people worship all kinds of gods, so you just got to be careful of who you're aligning yourself with. And I appreciate Kijin, and I think I haven't seen anything from Don't Drink the Kool-Aid 2, I don't think. Maybe they got grounded too. Again, I'll look for Don't Drink the Kool-Aid 3. For their observations and Pockets of the Future and Tarot by Janie and all these people that are talking about the weird, awkward stuff, you know. And I know the David Ickeys and stuff like that, and in the Cliff Highs and we're all trying to do the same thing. It's just, well, I don't know, maybe I don't know what they're trying to do. I just want people to think about things from a different perspective. Usually, people think about things from an earthly plane, from just like being in the room. Oh yeah, hanging out with my family. They're in a good mood. There's no threat. Everything's cool. But there's things on other planes, and it ain't like that. And then you go out into the world, and things get a little bit different because the environments get a little bit different, and people are feeding off other people's energy, and they're just pinging. There's a lot of fear, I noticed lately, I sound like Rain Man sometimes, I notice lately. Because I'll say something and I'll repeat myself. But the reasons why I repeat, like, because Mom will want me to repeat myself for clarity. So I repeat myself sometimes. When I do it, I'm like, I still sound like Rain Man. And or I'll say something and I'll be thinking about, okay, I have to, around the same time the dogs eat, Mom eats, in dinner in the evening, you know, around the same time a bunch of things happen. And then every now and again, an outside something will happen to throw a wrench into all that. Like, well, it's around 4 or 5 o'clock, we'll be doing all this stuff. And then sometimes weird stuff will happen. Like, you know, one day I was doing it, and then I noticed that the screen was gone on the window, and so is the cat, you know? And then so it's like, things shift. Never mind. I'm going to switch that. I think I'm about done. That's what I think. I think I'm about done. I think I'm going to look in the talkie room to see if anybody's in there. I got a kink in my neck, and I didn't sleep good, and I just think I'm about done. Benny said hi. He's back there, too. Hello, love bomb. Ahmad, love bombs. It's bright. Hold on. God. Yeah, it's going to be one of those days. I had to turn down the lighting. Yep, it's going to be one of those days. I don't. So, it's going to be one of those mornings. Maybe it won't be one of those days. I'm going to make cookies, I think. Yeah, I know. It's fragile. It's just. But you know what I didn't say? I got a lot done yesterday. Like, I got a freaking wild hair in the evening. That's probably why I didn't sleep so good. I mean, I was tired, and then I got a bunch of garbage loaded into the back of the truck. And I cleaned up the backyard. So I'm moving closer. When I get nervous, I know that I can get up and do stuff, but I can't do that in the middle of the night. There you are! Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Where we go, when we go, oh, we were all connected. Were your ears burning? Hi, Sean. Oh my goodness. You were my blessing. You were the beginning of a very blessed day a couple of days ago. See, it's so wonderful to finally make connections with people in these videos because it is a long time coming. I'm a very social person. I just can't really get out and leave Mom right now. You know, but it's changing, and it's the revolution. It's been going on. It's been going on. I've been revolting my whole life. There's a lot of us that have been contrarians and just recognized that the way that people have been doing things just hasn't been fair. I was so proud of my hometown, Redding, California, to see all those different people. Kids, 8, 9, hi. Wearing a mask is, well, it's hard to breathe. And it's It's just, what is she? It was like something like it's just mean. It's mean. Wearing a mask is mean. I mean, it was like 3 hours of like, these are the people that, and I left home. And that's what happened when I left home. So now I'm really ready to go back home and help. I'll do the work. If people hang out with mom, just a couple hours during the day, I'll go out and I'll do the work. I'll clear brush. And from power lines and stuff like that. I'll do all that stuff. Rules and regulations. You guys can't, they keep dancing around rules and regulations. They never get none of the work done. So us worker bees are going to go out and handle it for you. And I'm sure that we're going to have people that are going to protect us and keep us from getting thrown in jail and stuff like that, Because you have the freedom fighters. We're fighting for freedom right now. Because I've been talking about this 3 years. People don't want to live under rule. They would rather die than live under rule. And I got German on my side, on my father's side. So I have that whole German Hezig. I got all the burdens of that. And that's why I'm trying to freaking do everything I can for fight to my death, And it might not be me fighting in the street. It might be my energy field shutting down, health. Sorry, baby. Health. Yep. The phone buzzed. Okay. He said, Mama, you be... So, if you guys just help me pray for a place for me and my dogs, because that's the hardest obstacle, is like, you got 4 dogs, but I'm such a responsible pet owner that if they do anything, they're good dogs. I have potty pads all over and everything, and I swear, I just want to keep them until their last breath. I don't want to make them go back to the rescue. My brother wants me to do that. Wants me to put mom in a home and get rid of all my dogs and get a job and just do what I'm told. I've been embarrassing him since the first movie I saw in the movie theater in Morro Bay. It's like 1977. It was a movie called Jesus Christ Superstar, and I just loved the music. I've always loved music, and I got up out of the seat and I went and laid in the middle of the aisle, just like this, just like I'm laying right now in the middle of the aisle in the front. I was just like I was in the middle of my living room. I was 3 years old. My brother's 5. Mom, go get her. She's embarrassing me, and that's pretty much set forth the relationship as it was, and he's still stuck then, so everything I do to him is an embarrassment. He doesn't see that I'm trying to help people recover, get through hurts and pains and shit like that, because he's one of those that just knows how to stuff it. I don't know how to stuff it, because if I stuff it, I'm going to be a violent human being, and I'm going to hurt things. Because that's what happens to people like me. I've seen it my whole entire life. I'm really trying not to be a violent being. And, I fight myself every day with trying to not to just not have my frustration out on other things that I love, because they're nothing outside. Nothing outside there is in my head. So they don't know why I'm upset. They don't know. So I try and communicate it today and not let anger rule me. It's like all these other military folks that went through stuff, that I saw go through stuff. And I know that they're in a worse way. Well, I don't know. I think everybody's in kind of a bad way. But the thing of it is, there's breath, there's meditation, there's nature. I have nature in my backyard. Ew. I got laughter, I got music. I'm going to go dance here in a little bit. It's going to be a dancing time in a little bit, because when I, it's I already feel the energy lighten up, It's just I know my chart, I know how I am, and I really wish other people would get into their charts and know how they are, so that on days that you're highly, extra too much sensitive, and if you can, stay in, and if you got a friend to run an errand for you, get him to. Because there's days that you're going to be able to go out and be the person running the errand and be the custodian, and then there's days that you're going to need the custodian. That's why going back to community living, I'm so excited about it. I think I've rambled on long enough.